not sure how many of you are familiar with my background. I am a resident who was born here in South Los Angeles, and before that term, it was South Central Los Angeles. You know, the movies, the music, the imagery, all the YouTube videos that you can capture about news reports, about drive-by shootings in this neighborhood and in others, but definitely in this neighborhood, an expansive community stretching from miles around in the southern part of Los Angeles, which people have named South Central, and of course, mentioned many times before through media. In fact, I would just say this, that one time in the civil court, I had the audacity to tell a judge while I was being checked for being one of the jurors, told him I'm from South Central Los Angeles, and he just, you know, didn't like that. So I would just say that that's my background, and you know about the challenges, and you know all about the stories that have come out of this neighborhood. But I'm just setting it up an introduction because living in this community for so long and having to hear about the stories, visit the locations, actually walk in the locations where a friend of mine was shot. Of course, I didn't know him all that well, but he was walking his girlfriend home and was shot on the very same street corner in which I walk sometimes in the neighborhood. And I'm sure I'm walking some of the places where people that I went to school with or knew in the neighborhood were shot and murdered. And the key word for all this is challenges. Living in this neighborhood presented all sorts of challenges because you didn't know whether or not when you stepped out that door that it'll be your last day living as part of this earth. And that was the challenge those of us who live in the neighborhood faced every single time when we stepped out the doors, whether it's our parents' house, place of residence, whatever it may be. We just didn't know. None of us knew. We were very thankful we prayed. We were thankful to the Lord when we made it home safely, knowing that we had to go out again the next day. But again, that's the challenge we all had to deal with in my generation. In my parents' generation, they've had to deal with racism, overt racism, and living in an impoverished way of life for some of them. Well, let me just say that my father and my mother lived in very simple times where the racism was really out there, but also facing other issues as well with their own people. And even though they were successful, or at least in one side of my family found a little bit of success, the other side of my family had to go through share of hardships. They had to go through the shared challenges, and again, all the things happen in generation. If you have family members who are a little older, who are really up there in age, they can share you with you stories about what they had to go through, and it's not a very pretty sight. Which leads me to the current generation of young people that I'm watching and looking at and observing and even dealing with sometimes. They have a different set of challenges. They have a different set of issues that they're dealing with. and they're dealing with all sorts of issues out there in which which is going to define their world, right? Gender identity, financial issues, all these different hardships and issues and challenges that they are facing now and will have to face down the road. They also have to deal with violence. They also have to deal with prejudice. So I would say in the months and even years ahead, they're going to be faced with more of the same. They're going to be faced with that. Just like my generation had to deal with the violence in my neighborhood or the police issues that came up around this neighborhood, and with my parents in their generation, which they had to deal with their own sets of issues. Each generation has to face these challenges in order to get better. And I feel we're at that moment in time now where we're also going to face those challenges because we have to. In order to grow as human beings, we have to go through our own personal issues and challenges. If you are facing a personal issue about putting food on the table, or having enough money to eat, or enough money to maintain a lifestyle in which to feed your family, or to maintain your family, or fix your home, or whatever that you have to face, it's always a challenge, right? Always a challenge we have to face. For those of us who are not as well off as other folks, because those people who are well off really don't care anything about us, the ones who are less than them in the financial status. They can care less about us, and they're showing that and are going to continue to show that down the road. But all they can just say is that these challenges are not meant for us to, feel like they're not easy. They're not meant to be easy. They're meant to be hard. They're meant to be challenging. That's why they're called challenges. Issues that we have to deal with, and they've been part of our life almost since time immemorial, right? But we have to get through them. We have to deal with them and eventually overcome them in order for us to get better. No matter what walk of life that you're a part of, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with community challenges as well as the broad general challenges nationwide, even our entire world. We have to face these things. We can't run from them. Even in my own personal situation, on a day that I never thought would ever come, I had to face my own health challenges. And by the grace of God, I made it through a extremely difficult health challenge. And I'm still here. And I have a lot to be thankful for. But that's what happens when you emerge, when you come out of your challenge feeling much better, stronger than before. You realize that having that faith, convinced that you were in that situation and now you're much better coming out of it, makes you much stronger, healthier, hopefully wiser. I never thought that when I laid in a hospital bed for 4 to 5 days, that the first part of the challenge, that I would ever see the outside world again. I didn't know what was going on. But I can tell you that after surviving that ordeal, made me much more appreciative of life. And even when the pandemic came, not long after that, it still made me appreciate life a little bit more. It's helped me slow down. It helped me get back into the world, so to speak. And then I was able to enjoy life. I still enjoy life now. Even in my late stages of life, I'm still enjoying life. I'm still enjoying the best that's still yet to come for me personally. But it couldn't have happened unless I went through my challenge. It couldn't happen until I had to go through that to understand that it's not just about me, but it's about life. You know, I'm sure there are many of us who hang around this platform and other platforms in this online matrix that we're a part of daily. And we sacrifice our time, we sacrifice our energy, we sacrifice everything just for the sake of being liked or having clicks come our way or whatever that we're looking for. But there is a reality as soon as you log off. There is reality right there. You're sitting in it. You're in the space of reality. And guess what? When the power goes out and this thing stops running, that's reality. That's when everything is real, it becomes actual, and you have to deal with that world as well. In that world of reality, the challenges are even more defined. Now, you're faced with serious issues and problems that you have to solve. So I hope we're not fooling ourselves. I mean, this online world that we're all part of, and you're seeing me right now talk with you, it's a great world, but it's also a world in which people can disguise themselves and to create an image of who they want to be just so they can get your ear. And once they have it, their intentions are not the best. Let's just put it that way. But all I can just tell you is that if you make it through your challenges, even in this generation or in other generations, no matter what generation you belong to or you're part of, we all have challenges that we have to deal with, and challenges that make us stronger, make us better, and hopefully will make us much more aware that this is the world that we live in. And unless we all work together to make it right, that reality is going to be lost. So, I guess that this is going to be a New Year's resolution. If we plan to make those, let's try to make a better world, starting with our community, starting where we live, the people we talk with, our neighbors, and try to create a better world from the inside out, and then see what happens. Hope what I said has helped, and if you did like what I said, and you feel encouraged by that, then I would just say that you're invited to click below, like, or if you want to subscribe and hear more content like this, you can click the subscribe button as well. But I do hope that what I said makes sense, and I'm always trying to do that, make sense of what I'm saying, and that you come back to this channel just for that. But I do want to thank you. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you spending time with me watching this, and I hope that your day, evening, or week, or whenever you're watching this, goes well. I just want to wish you all the best. I really hope that your holiday season will be a good one, that you take care of your families as well as yourself, and that you enjoy the days and months of this year that are winding down. But I do want to thank you all for watching. Really thank you all for your support, and thank you so much for being there. I just want to say this in closing. Have a good time and take care.